Hey, what's going on? Today, we have another live commentary. I really like making this type of stuff. Definitely going to try to make more consistently. Today, I wanted to talk about anger. Something that I know very well and I struggle with a lot, and I think a lot of people struggle with. And I think it's a really big issue and something that doesn't get talked about. I think recently, in the past couple of years, there's been a great push in mental health awareness, which is amazing. For a while, I actually wanted to pursue that and work in that field, which I'm not too sure about now, just because I have other interests and stuff. But the push for mental health has been amazing. But one factor that not a lot of people talk about is anger issues, and everything that comes along with it. It's not a comfortable thing to talk about, and it can often be one of the most uncomfortable things to talk about, usually because most people write off people with anger issues as assholes or people that are just being stubborn or rude, and it often leads people to just give up on other people, and it sucks. It really does. The reason I'm talking about this today is because I personally really do struggle with anger issues, and I've gotten a lot better at it, but I would like to talk about it here just because it's something I don't get to talk about even with my closest friends, family, etc. And I would just like to put this out there. Maybe some other people can see it, relate to it, etc. And, I just think it would be interesting to talk about. If you do like this kind of stuff, as always, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. I hate saying that kind of stuff, but I hear it works. Usually people forget to do that kind of stuff if they like things, but it'd mean the world to me, seriously. So, getting into it, when I was little, I was diagnosed with ODD. Like most mental things, it's really complicated to talk about. But for me personally, in the most simple way possible, it means I'm really stubborn, and I like to argue, and I like to just be stubborn for no reason. Even if I want to do something, I will just say no, and I'll start fights. When I was really little, I got sent to the principal's office because I wouldn't move seats on the bus because I was sitting in the front seat, which in schools is usually if you have an injury, special ed, etc. And I was just sitting there because I didn't know. And I could have moved, but I just didn't. It was a huge fight where my parents got involved in everything. And I don't know why I didn't just move. Obviously nothing I would ever do today. What an asshole thing to do, but I guess that's kind of what I was pointing to, is usually someone would look at a kid like me and just think I'm a piece of shit, I'm an asshole, and I need to grow up. Which is what I was told my whole life, which is really damaging. And I actually didn't know I was diagnosed with ODD, or even went to the, you don't remember a lot of things when you were little, so I didn't even know about a lot of this stuff until a couple of years ago, and until recently when I was really thinking about it. Usually, I just tried to ignore my anger, or I would just embrace it in some cases. I tried everything. But eventually you have to confront this sort of stuff. When you start losing friends, when you start losing family, when you block out people that you need in your life, you have to start confronting this stuff, which I started doing a couple years ago, and I've made a lot of improvements, but I'm, fighting with people, I'm getting irrational. It's a big reason for a couple years I was into politics, because politics can be great and terrible, because it'll work me up and get me frustrated and angry, but at the same time it's a great funnel to funnel that anger into. So like if I'm really frustrated, I'll argue with myself for a little bit or rant to somebody, and that usually will calm me down. It's really weird. It's a terrible push and pull. And I think a push and pull, when it refers to my hobbies, is a great way to put it. Especially with video games. Video games is one of my main hobbies, I guess, that I do. I am very competitive. One of the main reasons I was playing Smash for the past couple years, it's kind of the definition of push and pull. It feels so bad to lose, but then it feels great to win. Though in a lot of cases, it really hurts because it hurts so bad to lose. You get angry, frustrated. I have broken so many controllers, which obviously I'm not proud of. They're expensive, especially nowadays. The Switch Pro controller is $70, and it's the biggest piece of junk imaginable. I have actually treated my Pro controller with the most care in the world, and it still has a ton of issues. It has scratches, the sticks have a little kink in them. Terrible controller, by the way. That's not what I'm talking about. I've broken a lot of controllers, and I've broken keyboards, and I've gotten frustrated over little things through video games. The hurt and pain, I don't know, I guess I would call it pain, that comes from losing hurts so much that the winning doesn't even feel good. But the winning and the wanting to win keeps you playing and keeps you pursuing. And this doesn't even have to do with video games. This was the same thing with drawing. The reason I drew for so long was because the rest of my friends did it, and I wanted to be better than them. Getting criticized sucked, but then getting complimented felt so good that it kept me doing it. Though there are a lot of times when the anger outweighs the winning, to where I will just quit things. I went like a year without drawing. Even the drawing now, I only do probably once a month, just because it's so frustrating to try and learn new things and try to, you know, anatomy is the biggest pain in my life, to the point where I started just scribbling, and when it starts looking good, I just keep it, and you know, it works for me. That's how I learned to draw hands. If you look closely at my hands, you will learn that they are just very well done scribbles. And I think the main thing that kind of made me have to come to terms with a lot of this stuff was how it affects my relationships, which is probably the most uncomfortable thing to talk about. Even now, I want to make this video, but this is the hardest part when it comes to making these sort of videos, because it's very personal and is very situational, and depending on the person, it's completely different. A lot of my friends, especially online friends that I don't have too close an attachment to, I will just cut out of my life because I'm angry or I'm frustrated, and it leaves me super lonely. Honestly, I mean, that's the best way to put it. 2020 was one of the loneliest years of my life, which I hate admitting, but it's true. I talked to like maybe 3 friends, not including my family. And when it comes to my family, that's also a really big issue. A lot of family members, I have a terrible relationship because I get into fights and I get into arguments, and they just make me so mad that I want to cut them out entirely. And I think honing back into one of the main things I wanted to talk about was this stuff is not talked about very much. Usually people, like I said, I think twice already, usually these people are just kind of written off as assholes. And it sucks, it really does. And when it eventually escalates, this leads to depression in extreme circumstances, being sent places. I mean, when I was little, I was threatened to be sent to military school more times than I can even count on my hands. It was a very frequent occurrence for me. I think it's worse for people, specifically when you're little. People are more patient with you, but you're not able to explain yourself as well. I was definitely the problem child growing up, being sent to detention all the time, getting into fights, just screaming at people for no reason, causing a scene. Definitely, I can guarantee, if anyone is watching that goes to my school, that has been with me since elementary school, can definitely attest to a couple times where I have caused the scene. It's not fun, and it really sucks, and I wish this was something that we could talk about more. I mean, even just letting people know that this is a serious problem allows people to be more patient with people with anger, because like I said, anger is kind of the center point. For me specifically, at least, anger is my core. And then around that are different branches that stretch off into, depression, relationship issues, which isn't just like dating. Dating specifically is really hard, but then when it comes to friends and family, it also is so hard, just because it all goes back to anger. I have gone through many therapists, and none of them have been able to help me. For now, at least, I'm definitely going to try to find help more in the future. But right now, at least, I'm kind of just on my own, and I'm with my friends that will support me. Because the other friends don't support me, and they don't. And granted, a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people don't want to help people with this issue because it's hard. It's really taxing, and a lot of people also have their own issues. It can be very hard to deal with someone who is constantly getting angry and just causing a lot of issues. But I think that's about it. This is just something I wanted to talk about because I'm really passionate about it, and I think it's something that doesn't get talked enough. About enough. Like I said, if you did get to the end of the video, I would really appreciate maybe someone comment saying that they got this far in the video. That'd be awesome. And if you do want me to make more of these, comment below, like, subscribe, do all that. It's very hard to record these because I live right next to a very busy road, so there is constantly cars whizzing by my street. I definitely need to get a new mic eventually, so it'll isolate the noise a lot better. Yeah, thank you for watching.